All right, well then, let's do this. Okay. Studio audience! Coming to you live from Burbank. It's not Burbank, we are in Soma. Beautiful downtown San Francisco. Here we are at DNA Lounge Studios. It's the professor with Victoria del Castillo.
Hello.
Yes, we are. You like that distance, the safety? Yes, safely. You got your hand sanitizer? Where's your hand sanitizer?
I have a lot of it.
You got your own, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's my hand sanitizer. Good. Like, I've got my devolved PPE here, like this, folks. There we go. We got the. There it is. We have the officially sanctioned Devo personal biosafety wear here, just to observe maximum biosafety protocols in the name of keeping it clean. So we are here with Playable Agency. Proud to be here with all of y'all, doing a little bit of live Twitch streaming, and we're going to be talking about production using Lightform. And we're going to talk through some of the design considerations that we have been kind of bumbling around with and stumbling and flying around and whipping out, trying things out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. So we're just going to walk through with you some of our process here with a set on the main stage at DNA Lounge using Gatorboard, using a Christie projector. We've got an Epson, got a couple of Lightforms, of course. So let's see. Right. So I'd love to show the stage as it is now. If we can cut to the main stage to show what we have up right now currently. So we can show folks what we got going on. Okay. So part of our objective tonight with showing you our process is just to show you how easy and fun and approachable it is for folks out there that may be interested in creating your own live projected sets, maybe for theater, or for home theater, for stuff. Maybe you got something in your garage and you want to create a nice projected AR environment. You got a few old sets laying around you can paint up white. You can take a look at some of the materials we got here. I'll show you. This is just some Gatorboard. This is upcycled from Moscone Recycling Center. So I've been upcycling materials from Moscone, like a lot of Dreamforce cast-off for many years, working with them. I helped migrate them off of foam core, which is a non-sustainable material, to Gatorboard, which is a more biodegradable material. And it has a jagged edge once you cut it. But it's lightweight, it's really nice. It takes projection nicely. It has a little bit of a sheen, which Lightform sometimes can bounce a little bit, and you can get some artifacts, as we call them, when you make your scan. But if you have a nice diffuse light when you're projecting on your surface, you'll get a good scan, and then you'll be able to author a really nice scene. So here's it's a nice material for building kind of a large environment. So if you take a look at some of what you've been seeing on the camera. We have a number of large Gatorboard pieces assembled on stage. So downstage we have our smaller pieces, of course, going then mid-range, and then in the back the tallest pieces. And why have we done this? Well, that's for the sake of occlusion, right? So depending on how many projectors, in this case we have 2 front projectors hitting the stage, so we're taking into account smaller pieces downstage, middle, and taller, so that you can get your projections, make sure that everything's not in front of each other, right? And then we also thought about having the dancers, so on either ends of the stage, for safety purposes. Then, of course, creating an area where they're dancing and where the movements wouldn't occlude too much behind them as well. So when we thought about that, when we laid out the pieces and when we did the animations, we tried to think about where do you want to place that so that it works within the composition of the whole set. Also too, do you want to have the projections kind of augment the costuming of the dancers? So in this case, we also had a bit of LED lighting and UV black light, but we'll go to lighting in a second. But I thought, hey, let's get some happy accidents with projections hitting the costumed performers as well, sort of integrating into the look, feeling like they're all part of the world, right? So here with this, let's see what we're looking at right here. Okay, so we're looking at the set that's on stage currently. God, I feel like one of us should go up there. Like, I want to go up there in this white suit. And do you want to talk about some of the effects that you used? And I'm going to get on stage and I'm going to show it so it projects onto my white suit, which is why I wore this. But this is Victoria del Castillo, my colleague here, and she helped come on board and jump in and author, and yeah, general badassery. So you want to talk them through a little bit some of your aesthetic decisions with these effects that you used?
Awesome.
You know, yeah. And I'm going to go up there. I'm going to hop on stage and be a weirdo and see what the projections look like on my white suit.
Awesome. So, as far as my aesthetic choices, I have been using Photoshop since I was 10 years old. I'm 34 now, so it's been quite some time. So when I started using Lightform Creator, I saw how similar a lot of the process was. So I was able to snap into it extremely quickly. So one of the things that I felt very comfortable doing was creating multiple layers and adding several colors and details and things that I would just make in Photoshop. Like, for example, these pink and green bars that you see reflected on Scott right now. I've got some scan lines layered over my Photoshop files, which is why it looks kind of like neat and funky. And these rainbow tiles, which is the weird kind of like pink, purplish, green patterns that's running over him right now. I layered some of those with the scan lines as well and fireworks just to create like a weird, interesting, kind of sparkly look. And yeah, like I basically just kind of treated Lightform Creator the way I treated Photoshop. And I just used a lot of layers, a lot of transparencies, just, you know, basic Photoshop details. Scott, yeah. Scott looks really awesome, by the way, behind all these effects, for what it's worth. Pretty stoked. But yeah, the process was pretty easy. Lightform Creator is very, very much... I'd like to say like a watered down version of Photoshop. So if you are intimidated by all of the like choices and functionality of Photoshop, don't be by Lightform Creator, because it's pretty simple and easy to pick up. But if you are an advanced Photoshop user, you could really work some magic.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. It's been a really a real joy to work with you and jump into the deep end here. There's a sort of a certain art to producing theater and clubs.
100%.
And it takes a certain kind of willingness to just kind of go with the flow, you know, a little bit of improv and a lot of just kind of breathing and leaning into the process. I mean, I started out as an impressionist painter.
Yeah.
So part of why I think I'm able to work with Lightform in sort of chaotic environments is that I treat it as a sort of an impressionistic gobo. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not super obsessed with super tight calibration.
Right.
As an artist and a designer, I want to hit those moments. I want to like, you know, like, so with the turbo drive, I don't know if we can pull up the turbo drive set that we did on the same set. Evo's there on the back end. She's the wizard behind the magic curtain there with Streamlabs. But if we pull that up, I can show you. But obviously, like when we thought about this production, I created what was essentially a city urbanscape that we could then activate in a multiple number of ways. And, you know, so if you see a shape that looks like a skyscraper, okay, let's come up with some, you know, animations. So we worked with Stefan G, and he generated some really beautiful sort of cyberdelic, futuristic, like skyscraper animations. Very short little, I think, movie files, like four seconds, you know, ported them in, and they're really lovely, and they loop, but it made it look like a kind of a futuristic cyber city. We created that look originally for the drone racing with Mark Kornblatt and Doug and the Museum of Future Sports over at the Hotel Wickham. That was just right before the COVID hit. And so we pulled some of those visuals back in. And some of these sets we brought back from that. And so, on the whole, the idea was, okay, let's bring in the forced perspective of a computer-generated cyber city. And I definitely was watching the chats during TurboDrive, and people weren't sure if it was actually computer-generated set, if it was real. Like, they were like, is this built in Unreal Engine? I was like, that was the best thing I could have heard. I want people to be unsure
100%.
if it's real or if it's computer-generated.
Yep.
That's one of the things I love about Lightform is I love that it's, they call it projected AR, right? I want to create real-life holograms.
Yes.
That's why I pursued Lightform in the first place. I want to create objects that really defy the mind's ability to really understand what you're looking at.
Yes.
And that's the thing about calibration is like tight calibration can really take the eye on a journey of, kind of into the world of trompe l'oeil, in that uncanny valley, where you're just like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
You see it before you, it looks real, but it also looks like a computer-generated object, so it has kind of a meta quality to it.
Yep.
Something I really love about doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious about your the process, Victoria, that you were doing with using Oculus and going into Tilt. That was really fascinating.
Oh, yeah. So when I started using Lightform Creator, I noticed that you were able to import your own images and video files. So I started thinking, well, if I draw something in Tiltbrush, I could absolutely save it as either an image or a GIF or a video file. So I started to just play with it. And as I had, spoken to earlier, I like layering things. I like creating a look that has a lot of different details where every time you look at it, you notice something new. So I'm just super into that. So I started integrating Tiltbrush into my workflows where, I'd map something, I would use one of the regular Lightform effects, and then I would take the scan directly into Tiltbrush, and then I would draw over it. And then what I would draw over it, I would just use in my Lightform Creator file and just add an extra layer of depth. And one of my favorite things about Tiltbrush are the brushes. The brushes are really cool. There's a lot of really unique and awesome things you could do, from like the hull brushes to the light brushes. There's just a lot of really, really neat effects that you could just organically draw onto a scene. And that was what really drew me into it. So I just started integrating, like really, really weird Tiltbrush-esque effects. And as I continue to learn more about the platform, I start to build more and more advanced Tiltbrush assets to integrate into our scenery.
Yeah, fantastic. It was fun to watch you do that live. And just saying like, okay, like this area could use a bit of a little gradient just to blend it in, or like bringing the cathedral in, suddenly you took it in there and you're fleshing it out and building the bricks.
Yep.
Take that file, throw it back over. Yeah, that was really fun to watch.
Yeah,
I look forward to learning more about that for sure.
Yeah. And I look forward to writing a lot of documentation. I've been playing a lot with Lightform, and I have encountered a lot of bugs with layering and Lightform Creator, and I'm currently working on hacks to make the flows better. And I will be writing documentation on this, so if anyone kind of wants to grok any of this, I'll have it written as soon as I figure it out.
No, fantastic. Hey, you want to talk about? It looks like, and there's Devin over there at the switchboard. Thank you, Devin. Woo! All right. So he just threw up the turbo drive. Can you throw that up back there for us? Let's get that turbo drive set back up on there. I want to point out a little something. There we go. So you'll notice there it is. All right, thank you. So take a look at the logo. Let's talk about what we did there. That was really fun. That was really fast. That was very impressive. Okay, so we have the turbo drive. The 7th anniversary here is last week. one of the longest running kind of synthwave events in the United States. It was their 7th anniversary, and they in the world, right? Okay, yeah, the world. David's like, the world.
Awesome.
And so we thought, hey, let's get the logo up there, 7th anniversary. And so I think we just took like a little, was it an MPEG off of the Facebook page and just grabbed it and threw it on there in like 5 minutes.
Yep. We just saved an MPEG from Facebook. I had to do some, like fancy workarounds because, as y'all know, you can't just save data from Facebook. You have to find third parties in order to do it. So I found a third-party provider and I downloaded the file. And as I said earlier, you're able to import images and video files into Lightform Creator. So I just imported it and I dropped it in, and it looked really awesome.
Right. See, that's a big one, right? A lot of folks, they look at the files, the images, the digital video asset files with Lightform, like, okay, well, those are kind of cool, but maybe somebody, some folks aren't into some of what they're saying. It's like it's so easy. I didn't realize how easy it was, and now I feel like I'm like, I can't believe you just like made those fries in like 30 seconds.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
But really, like, I mean, so that was part of the, because I'm like, as a designer, as an artist, I want everything to be exactly how I see it, which means like I want to like get the files, get the stuff, work with an artist or make it myself, and then throw it in there myself. So that was that really made me happy to see how easy that was.
Absolutely. And as you know, like anything that I learn, it's, free knowledge. I'm a hacker, and I love sharing what I learn. I love talking to people about what I learn and learning from others. Like, this is all a collaborative experience.
Right? Yeah, fantastic. So much fun. Yeah, excellent. Let's talk about lighting real quick, and then I want to talk about some of the future projects.
Awesome.
And some of the ideas that we've had, and some of what we've learned here, and how we can kind of hone it, and take those lessons. One of the things I've noticed with the Lightform is that it definitely plays well with other forms of light, of other light instruments. Definitely been working UV, fluorescent blacklight, with certain scenes, and I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff we posted in the past of Debbie Cable's work down in LA, and integrating Lightform with her wonderfully immersive psychedelic blacklight environments. Really surprising how Lightform integrated there, and we'll put some of that stuff back up there. And I've also noticed that the sets really integrate with LED lighting very nicely. So you'll notice the set that's up currently. I've used in some places, instead of gator board, I've used a material called Corplast. It's short for corrugated plastic. It has a really nice luminous quality. And when you put a light inside it, it gives this really beautiful kind of glow, like a bit of a gradient. It looks like it's computer generated in a way, but it's a very simple effect. And you have a glow from inside an object, and you can project on the outside of it, and it does something really delightful that I enjoy. And we have some movers on the stage as well, just to give some dynamic motion, some kinetic motion, especially like if they're hitting the go-go dancers, just to pick that up, but not too much. There's really not a whole lot. Obviously, in this scene that we have authored here, there's a lot of kinetic motion in the looping video assets that Victoria chose. So it has a very dynamic quality to it, kind of an 80s kind of cyber plaid, explosion.
Yeah, and also shout out to Gabriel Rowland, aka Nokun, for the face image in the center, as well as like overall design advice. It was a collaborative effort last night for the DJ set. So yeah, like, go Nokun. Thanks, man.
Woo! God, I'm just looking over here on the stage left, just at this like volume of shapes and just how it keeps kind of morphing and slowly like changing. It's so mesmerizing. I could just look at that, like, just fall into that all night. So yeah, what are a few things that we're going to be trying? So keep an eye on here on DNA Lounge, and we're going to be streaming here. We're going to be setting up more studios here, more interactivity, more environments to bring you into worlds of delight and wonderland, and Mr. Nobody's kind of spooky manner of shadows up in the back, and all kinds of good stuff. The let's see, what is the my Devo visor is fogging up. Yeah, we want to play around with some of the kinetic.
Yeah.
Let's come to the responsive stuff, right, with the Kinect. You want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, so while I was experimenting with the Lightform, I was looking through the documentation and I was reading about the open source control protocol. And basically, you could use the OSC protocol and the Kinect to be able to do body tracking with the Lightform. So you could essentially have like an AR ball that you're playing with, and you're like playing with someone that's like across the room, and you're playing with this projected ball, and the Kinect is tracking both of your motions, right? That's just one use case of an infinite amount of use cases that we could possibly grok. But yeah, it'll be like really cool to be able to basically feel like you're a magician, be able to like have fireballs, AR fireballs
Right.
that aren't necessarily like on a screen, right? Like people don't need to have either a phone or a VR headset to be able to experience this AR. It's fantastic. And there's a lot of things we could do with it. And I feel like this is just the beginning because this is just what we know right now. And if we just started playing with it and just started just being really creative and just kind of taking it to its limit, I'm sure that we could figure out a whole bunch of novel use cases and like really, really cool things that we could be doing with it.
Right, and just to kind of be clear, like so with the Kinect, we could have a dancer on stage, and that with a certain motion,
Yep.
it could trigger a slide or
Correct.
a specific animation.
Yep.
Right. So maybe they move their hand like this, right, and that's wind motion,
Yeah.
and like we have an animation, it looks like wind, and it looks like they just conjured that wind,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, amazing, right? Or they just like look like they punch the stage, and it cracks and it falls apart.
Yeah.
Right? Right, yeah, see, that's fantastic. And the slides, which is something I have not yet fully gotten into, the slides is something that I'm really looking forward to exploring.
Oh yeah, the
Because
slides.
for me as a theater designer,
Yep.
narrative is really important, narrative flow,
Yeah.
and creating a look and a set of scenes that can unfold in time
Yeah.
to tell a story.
Absolutely.
Right, it's going to be big. Even exploring this, we talked about this with turbo drives, so maybe we go from a scene that looks like, could be a video game character, like in an environment running from, a blue ghost to maybe it's Pac-Man.
Right.
And then suddenly, we can have a scene where it's, acid rain and, Blade Runner and the ancient future of, 2019.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And, and suddenly boom, okay, scene change, and then, we're in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to really exploring that as well. Excellent. Was there any other immediate? I would say stay tuned here on this channel. Stay tuned to Playable Twitch, and we're going to keep showing up here at DNA Lounge Studios. We'll be working with Turbo Drive. Next one is July 10th, I believe. It's on a Friday, and we're also going to be having a virtualized bar experience where you can come and join bartenders that will be here live, but you can join us via Room, which we will be publishing that address, and you can watch them and talk with them as they make these delicious, tasty cocktails, and mix and mingle with other DNA guests in your virtualized bar experience. So look out for that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I look forward to reinventing and leaning into the storm here and
Absolutely.
creating magic and beauty for the community
Absolutely.
here at DNA Lounge Studios, whom we're very grateful to be here and giving us the chance to experiment and try new things out and play with new technologies in this wonderful little safe container, during this pause. Yeah. All right. So is there anything at home that we want to show? I'm not sure if Evo has anything lined up there, but this has been lovely. Yeah, it's been great. Thank you for jumping in, and thank you for leaning into the chaos. And
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. This has been a lot of fun. My mad scientist brain has been extremely excited.
right, and just I just want to get some dynamic data visualization, get some augmented, like some AR characters
Heck yeah.
into the mix too. Like let's have some virtualized go-go dancers that just appear and we can port them in, and maybe somebody's stuck at home, or maybe somebody's stuck in a wheelchair and they can animate, or somebody's in VR.
Yeah.
And they can come and they can join us.
100%.
How can we? To me, that's what the multiverse is about.
Yeah.
It's like getting all the worlds to play together. In a way. And now this technology is, it's available for us to do that.
100%.
So I look forward to cracking the multiverse code here at DNA Lounge. All right, I think that's it for now, shall we?
Yeah.
That was good.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Devin. Thank you to Devin over here, rocking the streams and the cam.
Appreciate
Thank you
y'all.
to Evo and Marty at Playable Agency. And I think I'm going to go and get my dance on. All right. Well, there it is. Cheers, folks. I'll talk to you real soon.
Hello, boys and girls, thrill seekers, adventurers, lovers of puzzles, games, and mystery. It is I, Professor Rubik, here in my cubicle. We are going to explore the mystery, the fun, the challenge, the adventure of the Rubik's Cube. That's right, we're going to unlock the cubic dimension and Rubik tesseracts. Oh, yes, I hope to join here very soon. Until then, I, Professor Rubik, signing off. Have fun, stay creative, see you soon.